Yeah, I don't always mention the religious trauma, but it is real. And I find, and it comes definitely in the Christian religion, and that's what I'm familiar with, but it comes up, and I find that there are a lot of commonalities in other walks of life too. IFS taught me self-compassion. I don't berate my parts anymore. And it really is, the more we practice this, it becomes a way of life, and it's a beautiful thing. Overwhelming anxiety is what trips me up, and I think it's unresolved trauma. And hopefully you got a little more spaciousness today with that. But yes, we have that unresolved trauma, and there are those little ones, those exiles that these protectors are trying to protect underneath. And just keep being curious with those protectors, and as they trust, things do open up and there is hope for healing, but it's hard. Yeah, the power of this model, so cool. Yeah, I had no idea how to be self-compassionate before, or why I let my self-critic run rampant. Remember that acronym, pause, awareness. Let me see, I already forgot it. Maybe we should make that spell something. But pause, aware. I'll have to find it later. Send me an email and I'll get that to you. Yeah, but those critics, they can be noisy, and they're doing the best they can. Yeah, and acknowledge that pain and brokenness, those hard feelings. I never want to unburden emotions because they help guide us. But our extreme protectors and parts, they feel emotions differently, much like a child does because they're younger. But if the part isn't willing, don't push it. Just be with it. Or if it doesn't want you to be with it, give it some space, and notice how other parts may react or are coming in, because there's usually other parts just under the surface that need some attention there too. Grateful to let the tears flow. Yeah. And then Bob says, I can't connect with my part. I can feel it though. Yeah, and just feel it, and be aware of those parts that may not want to connect. And yes, spiritual bypass is very real. And I want to make sure too, sometimes even with IFS, we can, not spiritual bypass per se, well, sometimes we can, but it's to be aware when I say there are no bad parts, or it's okay to feel that, it is what it is, or whatnot. That's why I say those parts that are reacting, that are saying, I don't believe this, I don't get it, spend time with them, and it can help us. Yeah, get to know all of our parts, and often those that aren't at the forefront at first are the ones that may be needing the attention the most. Funny, the part that showed up was panicking because I spontaneously joined this live. No plans, no expectations. Well, yes, welcome. And it's one thing about these lives is we can still do it on our own and be in community, but hopefully it takes some of the pressure off there. And great job just being with the no plans and no expectations, SB. I don't have nervous system privilege, so my main issue is trying to self-regulate these days. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing your experience there, Carol. SB is resonating there with Bob. This part wasn't very clearly defined, but I could feel it. And it's okay to just feel. The somatic power of this model too. And go with those feelings and stay with them if you can, and notice what comes up, because it can often be maybe a challenging but a good trailhead. I'll thank you, SB, for reminding me of what I said. And for those of you who take notes, I just realized as I was reading it, it made a good acronym that is not an acronym, but pause, be aware, and experiment. Pause, be aware, and experiment. And then Bob said pause, ask, experiment. And maybe that, either way, that awareness, asking those questions. So whether I said aware or ask, they both fit there. You said pause, ask, experiment. So yeah, looks like that's what it is. And I'll look back. I'm not taking notes because I have notes, but I can't find them when I need them. So I'll try to get better on my own end at that.